In our coverage of the third phase of polling this morning, we'll now focus on the state of war in Uttar Pradesh. 59 assembly constituencies spread across 16 districts of UP are voting in the third phase of polling today. As many as 627 candidates are in the fray in this phase, in which over 2.15 crore people are eligible to vote. At least 8 districts lie in the Yadav belt. The crucial Karhal seat, which is also voting, is witnessing a battle between SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav and BJP candidate, Union Minister, former Mulayam aide SP Singh Baghel. The BJP had approached the Election Commission seeking deployment of paramilitary forces at all booths in Karhal.
Fifty-nine seats have gone for polling in Uttar Pradesh today. Right now we are in Hathras constituency. This is the Hathras' reserved constituency from where the BJP had won the seat in 2017. The BJP is getting a stiff contest from the Samajwadi Party and Rashtriya Lok Dal Alliance, along with the Bahujan Samaj Party in these 3 seats. And remember, it is the caste factor that is going to play the crucial role in this particular election in Hathras district. With video journalist Parmendra Sharma, this is Amit Bhardwaj, Find Day Today from Hathras.
क्या भाई को आशीर्वाद दे रहे थे आप, क्या होने वाला है?
1 लाख वोट से जीतेंगे और सरकार बनाएंगे।
अखिलेश यादव को मुख्यमंत्री बनने से कोई रोक नहीं सकता है। 2022 में अखिलेश यादव मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे।
इस बार सारा परिवार जो है प्रचार कर रहा है रामगोपाल जी, क्यों प्रोफेसर साहब, क्यों?
बड़ी जीत के लिए।
अब हमें प्रोफेसर साहब का आशीर्वाद अभी मिल गया है, नेताजी का आशीर्वाद लेके मैं आया हूँ।
दोनों साथ साथ हैं?
दोनों साथ साथ हैं।
परिवार साथ साथ है?
पूरा परिवार साथ है, दिल से साथ।
कोई चैलेंज नहीं है। चुनाव आते हैं तो उम्मीदवार सभी दल अपने खड़े करते हैं। बीजेपी ने भी खड़े कर लिए, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है। आदरणीय अखिलेश यादव जी ऐतिहासिक वोटों से चुनाव जीतेंगे और मैं समझता हूँ यहाँ से 3 किलोमीटर दूर करहल विधानसभा शुरू हो जाती है। आप जरूर जाइएगा और वहाँ के मतदाताओं के बीच जब चर्चा करेंगे तो आप पाएंगे कि कम से कम 90-95% लोग समाजवादी पार्टी के पक्ष में वोट कर रहे होंगे।
बताइए, आप खुश तो दिख रहे हैं, थके भी दिख रहे हैं।
क्या चुनाव में कन्वेंसिंग में होता है। अब हेलीकॉप्टर से तो मैं आया नहीं यहाँ पर उनकी तरह 2 बार। जनता को अपने 50 साल के उत्पीड़न का एक अवसर मिला है। मुझे लगता है वो खो नहीं रहे। मुझे तो एक गांव में एक व्यक्ति ने ये कहा कि अगर आज हम अखिलेश यादव को हरा देंगे तो 20 साल बाद हमारे नाती कहेंगे कि जिस सेफई का किला गिरा था तो हमारे बाबा ने भी कुछ ईंटें उखाड़ी थी। और अगर हम ऐसा नहीं कर पाए तो 20 साल बाद भी हमको ये गाली मिलेंगी जब किसी लड़की का दुपट्टा छिनेगा, प्लॉट पे कब्जा होगा या किसी का अपहरण होगा कि 2022 में आपने कमजोरी दिखाई, इसकी वजह से ये हमें बसियत में आप आतंक भी देके जा रहे हैं। क्या मजेदार बात कही उस व्यक्ति ने।
देखिए, सपा बनाम बीजेपी कॉन्टेस्ट हो चुका है पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में, जहां भी हम देख रहे हैं अभी। क्या आपको लगता है कि सपा की लहर इस वक्त दिखाई दे रही है? क्या यहाँ पर आपके वोट डेंट हो सकते हैं उस कारण से?
कुछ नहीं जी, समाजवादी पार्टी के पिछली बार जितने वोट मिले थे उससे कम उसको मिलने वाले, क्योंकि लोगों को जिससे कंपेयर करते हैं कि गुंडा राज, अपहरण, फिरौती, दंगा, भ्रष्टाचार, केवल व्यक्तिगत स्वार्थ, जिसमें उस प्रकार की राजनीति थी। और इस बार जो 5 साल की राजनीति होती है वो भयमुक्त समाज की थी। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर बहुत अच्छा था, विकास के पथ के ऊपर हम आगे बढ़ रहे थे, नया स्वरूप शहरों का आया, गाँव में हर व्यक्ति को सुविधाएं मिली है। तो सारे एक पॉजिटिव नोट के ऊपर इस बार जनता भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पक्ष में वोट देने वाली है और कानपुर में कोई समाजवादी पार्टी का कहीं भी कुछ नहीं है।
India Today's National Affairs editor Rahul Srivastav joins us this morning from Etawah. The Yadav bastion. Also with us this morning is Shreya Chatterjee from Jhansi. Milan Sharma joins us from Kanpur. Amit Bhardwaj joins us from Hathras. Rahul Srivastav, you've been travelling through your native state. Give our viewers a sense of the extent to which you think the Samajwadi Party will be able to make a dent in the Yadav heartland, because this is where they picked up about 37 seats in 2012 when the SP won. In 2017, it was one-way traffic towards the BJP. Is it looking like a seat ki ladai, or do you think there's an undercurrent which is gradually building up?
Rahul, this is the region where since 1963, when Mulayam Singh Yadav started contesting from Jaswant Nagar, the Mulayam Singh Yadav family, the first family of Samajwadi Party, has built what can be called the chemistry in this region. Since 2014, It is the BJP's arithmetic which has been triumphing over the Samajwadi Party's chemistry. Now this time around, what Akhilesh Yadav and the Samajwadi Party Rahul has tried to do is create a chemistry which is based on certain amount of arithmetics. And that's where lies perhaps the catch, that will that chemistry backed by the arithmetics work for Akhilesh Yadav? Now if you look at it, it's always called the Yadav Bastion. If you look at, there are 5 seats which have more than 1 lakh votes, 7 seats with 50,000 to 1 lakh votes, 27 seats with 25,000 to 50,000 Yadav votes. 11% or lesser is something close to 15% of the 4 district is the Muslim population. So the Yadavs do have a number, but they have traditionally depended, Rahul, in this area on the vote of the non-Yadav OBCs. For a very long time, this vote bank was largely with them. But the BJP dented that very vote bank with non-Yadav OBC constituting nearly 30% in this region. The Shaks, the Sainis, the Prajapatis and others. That's the vote bank the BJP stole. With 30% of the upper caste vote, the BJP started looking at a 60% catchment area, which did very well for the BJP. That in the last election, the BJP won 49 seats and virtually decimated the Samajwadi Party. What with leaders like Swami Prasad Maurya and others coming, Akhilesh Yadav creating smaller tactical alliances, giving representation to people, communities who have not traditionally voted for the Samajwadi Party like the Shaks, is what the attempt for Akhilesh Yadav is. Karhal is a walkover for him, definitely, because primarily that's one seat which traditionally has never voted for the national parties. Rahul, 16 elections, only twice has the Congress won and the BJP won in 2002. And that leader, Sobran Singh Yadav, shifted over to the Samajwadi Party. So technically, the seat has remained with the Samajwadi Party and the non-Congress, non-BJP players. And that is why Akhilesh Yadav this time around needs to pull certain amount of votes of the non-Yadav OBCs, depending on the certain amount of resentment there could be there. Although these sections are very happy with the BJP because of the law and order, and secondly, the free food grain during the lockdown. If Akhilesh Yadav walks over with that vote bank and also with a slightly more lesser active BSP in this region, there is a sizable Dalit population, Rahul, with nearly 8 districts have 20% or more of SC population. If Akhilesh Yadav can tap these zones, Akhilesh Yadav can look at certain gains in the bastion of the Samajwadi Party.
What the BJP did very successfully in 2017 was it said, okay, let's isolate the Yadavs and let's put together a coalition, a rainbow coalition of non-Yadav OBCs. It worked like magic. If that same technique works in 2022, the BJP will be in the lead. If that non-Yadav OBC coalition crumbles, which is what Akhilesh Yadav has been trying very hard to foster, then it becomes a far more hard-fought election. We've just received information that there's been an alleged poll code violation by the mayor of Kanpur, Pramila Pandey. Pramila Pandey shared a photo while voting at a polling booth. She had a photo out of her EVM machine and now a case registered against her. Remember, Kanpur is in the Awadh region of Uttar Pradesh, which is where you've got at least 6 districts which are going to polls today. There's Kanpur, there's Kanpur Dehat, Auraiya, Kannauj, Etawah, Farrukhabad. And joining us from Kanpur this morning is Milan Sharma, who's been having a very good time, I see, traveling through her native state as well. Milan, good morning. It's nice to see you bright and early in the morning. Give our viewers a sense of what's happening in Kanpur. And it seems the mayor of Kanpur seems to be in a spot of bother.
Yes, good morning as well to you, Rahul. And certainly Kanpur happens to be the Manchester of East. But yes, the people of Kanpur are very different. They have a different personality. Now we see the mayor is also in a tight spot after putting out that picture. But certainly Kanpur and the words that are used by people here like contest bahut kar raha hai aur yahan par bahut chakallas hai. So people want that Vikas is one of the bigger agendas for voting here. Women's safety and security is also a big agenda for voting here. But what happened in 2017, where BJP got 7 seats out of the 10 Vidhan Sabha seats, 2 went to Samajwadi Party, 1 went to the Congress. BJP is trying to repeat that feat or maybe even make it larger. If we don't count Kanpur Dehat, where there are 4 other seats, Kanpur is a huge area, and having 10 Vidhan Sabha constituencies itself gives any party who wins from here an edge. And certainly for, the citizens of Kanpur, the metro has come up, development has happened. If we just talk about the Maharajpur seat where I am standing at the polling booth right now, Satish Mahana, the industries minister in the UP government, has been winning from here since 1991. And when we ask the people around here what are the issues that people vote for, certainly caste vote is not something that Satish Mahana is given. There are various votes that come from the Kanpur Maharajpur seat. But if we talk about other seats wherein the Vikas Dubey's encounter issue had also been a big problem. His sister-in-law has been fielded from one such seat against the candidate Nilima Katyar, and therefore there has been a mixture of issues that have come forward in Kanpur as well, whether it's the leather industry, whether it's unemployment, whether it's jobs, as well as the development of the Kanpur city, which was, as I said earlier, known as the Manchester of East. And certainly towards the evening we'll know what the polling will be like, but we are looking at people coming in at polling stations, and hopefully I'll be able to pack a few Thagu ke laddu and bring them back with me as well from Kanpur.
That's very nice, and given the mess that Manchester is in at this moment, it also brings out the challenges Kanpur faces at this time. I want to go across to Sharath Pradhan and Rahul Verma, and I'm going to hold you to those laddus. So do bring them back, Milan, don't forget. You're saying this on air and then showing up back in the mediaplex with no laddus at all. We'll hold that against her. Rahul Verma joins us, as does Sharath Pradhan. Rahul, to you first. In Punjab, as we travel, there is a very clear, discernible yearning for change. It's very palpable, it's in your face. Do you think Uttar Pradesh is seeing an undercurrent which travelers aren't picking up quite as clearly, or do you think this is really turning out to be a fight on every seat with its own dynamics, rather than what we saw in 2017, where there was one very clear anti-Akhilesh mood prevailing and people wanted to give the BJP a chance?
Hi Rahul, true. I think you don't see a similar wave in Uttar Pradesh as you've been hearing in Punjab. Of course, like in UP, the contest is much closer compared to Punjab. So there is, of course, when you travel from west to east, you're going to hear certain issues that will crop up every time, right? Like as Milan pointed out, the agenda of Vikas. At some places you are going to hear about free rations. So depending upon who you are talking to and where you are talking to, issues change. The salience of issues change. And that's why it's very difficult to point out that there is a sort of a single Badlav wave or retain wave this time in Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, Sharath Pradhan, you're on the ground. Your general sense of how Uttar Pradesh looks after two phases right ahead of phase 3, and the strategy that the BJP successfully adopted of forging a non-Yadav coalition which wrecked the SP's chances in Yadav land. Does that strategy still hold, or do you think that strategy is now beginning to fray at the edges?
Well, this is the strategy which is beginning to frame, and this is the strategy which may work in this part of the this phase of the election. Because the first two phases, there was they were mostly Muslim dominant seats, and from what one hears from ground, the two phases, the BJP has come down drastically. Well, that is the common feeling. So now this third phase is what can change things, provided the non-Yadav OBCs go ahead with the BJP. And the big why I'm saying provided, because it's still not clear whether Akhilesh has been able to make any a serious dent with them, because in the Yadav land, because of Yadav dominance, the non-Yadav OBCs have certainly been cut up, and they have always been, traditionally they have been at the receiving end. But as it is believed that there are other factors also playing, for instance, what is now in common jargon in use is Labharti, is those people who will be getting free rations and the free money transfer into their accounts, the poor people. If you know, there are now again there are two sides of this. There have been cases where we have seen a video going viral where a BJP sitting MLA, Sarita Katyar, she had, the kind of anger she's showing with the people at a meeting where she's saying that you have taken ration bhi le liya, namak bhi le liya, tel bhi le liya, aur uske baad bhi vote nahi doge. those are the kind of things which send negative messages.
Pause that for a moment. Swatantra Dev Singh speaking at this moment. Let's just go across and listen to the BJP state unit head.
17-19 में प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ हम सत्ता में बनाए थे, सरकार बनाए। 2022 में भी प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ हम सरकार बनाएंगे और गरीबों की सेवा करेंगे, गरीब के कल्याण के लिए काम करेंगे, गरीबों को खुशहाल रखेंगे।
जिन सीटों पर गठबंधन है उनकी क्या स्थिति रहेगी?
बीजेपी सभी सीटों पर मजबूती से लड़ रही है और सभी सीटें जीतेंगे। बुंदेलखंड में तो 19 की 19 सीटें हम जीतेंगे, एक तरफा जीतेंगे।
थोड़ा फोटो करवा
Some figures of voting percentages till about 9 a.m. In Uttar Pradesh, the overall voting percentage has been about 8.15. In the Karhal constituency, where Akhilesh Yadav is contesting, voting percentages till 9 a.m. have been 10.5%. In Hathras, which has been in the news for all the wrong reasons after that infamous rape case, voting percentages at 7.6% in the third phase of polling till 9 a.m. Also with us this morning, amongst our reporters, Shreya Chatterjee joins us from Jhansi. We've got Milan from Kanpur and Amit Bhardwaj from Hathras. Now, if we were to spend a moment talking about what's happening in Jhansi, which is in the Bundelkhand region, where you have Jalaun, you have Lalitpur, you have Hamirpur, Mahoba and Jhansi, the BJP had swept Bundelkhand. Earlier, the BSP used to be formidable in these parts. Now the BSP seems to have collapsed in terms of its ability to win seats. It does hold on to a certain significant vote share, but isn't able to translate that into seats. So your broad sense, Shreya, about which way the winds are blowing in Jhansi and what you're picking up this morning?
Well, I'm in the heart of the Bundelkhand region, which is Jhansi, and as you pertinently pointed out, that Bundelkhand has gone in favour of the Bharatiya Janata Party. If we talk about Jhansi, all the 4 assembly constituencies from Jhansi Nagar to Babina to Garotha and Mauranipur had gone to BJP in the last elections. Political observers definitely feel it's the non-Yadav OBC and the non-Jatav Dalit combination that's been working in favour for the Bharatiya Janata Party. And if I could give you a sense of the ground right now, 7.64% voter turnout so far in Jhansi, the slowest in Jhansi Nagar, where I'm right now, the iconic Rani Mahal, and adjacent to this Rani Mahal, there is a voter booth, which is the Swami Vivekananda College, and I have some voters joined with me. I will try and ask the issues that they have been voting in Jhansi for. Sir, issues क्या है? पार्टी के नाम नहीं सर, issues क्या है जिस पे आप लोग वोट डाल रहे हैं?
इश्यूज हैं राष्ट्रवाद, विकास, सुरक्षा और सम्मान, रोजगार। ये जो सब कुछ हुआ है उसके आधार पर झांसी की ऐतिहासिक जनता और ये बुंदेलखंड का ऐतिहासिक क्षेत्र ऐतिहासिक परिणाम देने वाला है।
सर, एक सवाल करेंगे, झांसी रेलवे स्टेशन का नाम बदल दिया गया, ये पोल इशू बन सकता है? लोगों से पूछा तो लोगों को अच्छा नहीं लगा ये चीज़।
नहीं, पोल इशू तो ये नहीं बनेगा, लेकिन ये सेंटिमेंट्स जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं किसी भी पार्टी के हों, उन सब के अंदर है और उसको तो जोड़ेंगे झांसी को। और मैम, एक बेसिकली बात ये है कि ये हमारा मतदान नहीं है, हम लोगों ने अपने वोट को इन्वेस्ट किया है, इसको हम रिटर्न लेंगे, विथ इंटरेस्ट लेंगे, डेवलपमेंट और पीस के रूप में लेंगे।
So as you heard, the development is the major key word from here in Jhansi. They say they have invested in voting and they will get it back in return in the form of development. Over to you.
Thanks very much. We're going to slip into a quick break. We'll come back and we'll switch back to Punjab. Remember, there's a big election in Punjab where the whole state is going to polls across 117 seats, and then there is phase 3 in Uttar Pradesh, which to my mind is really going to determine where this election goes. Will it narrow down and be a tough fight, or will it just open up after phase 3? Because phase 1 and 2 would not be the right phases to judge. This is where the tone, tempo of the Uttar Pradesh elections are being set. Our coverage returns on the other side of a very quick break. Stay tuned.